I once worked for a large healthcare organization that had the mission of providing healthcare insurance to a very large segment of the population. I was working with a team of technical experts, database people, data scientists, doctors, informatics professionals, and many others. We were working on a variety of reports that depended on extracting complex data from a data warehouse and then performing a large number of fancy analytic calculations before presenting the information in wonderful charts. To our surprise, a reviewer of our work, who had been part of the organization for over 25 years, bluntly commented that our reports were junk. "Most of the information was wrong," he exclaimed. He explained to us that we did not understand the complex patterns of behavior and historical changes that made many of our data interpretations incorrect. Indeed, as consultants, most of us did not understand how this particular healthcare organization worked and how particular data came from multiple sources. As a result, that made many of our conclusions wrong. This module is based on the general assumption that the meaning and interpretation of data emerge from knowing about underlying biological and social processes that provide the context to the data. Thus, I will start with the assumption that data scientists are experts in technical aspects of data. They know how to store, extract, process, and interpret data so that people can make inferences about various physical and biological domains. Yet, as the story illustrates, the interpretation part of the process depends on domain knowledge or understanding of the context from which the data comes from. The lessons in the module provide a broad path to learning more about healthcare systems and clinical processes. I start broadly with the idea that the current state of the U.S. healthcare system is related to the history of capitalism and political history in the United States. Although complex and debatable, I argue that politics and economic forces influence well-being and medical systems that are put in place to improve health. And all of these factors evolve through time. Next, I describe some aspects of the U.S. healthcare system that exposes problems with fragmentation and inefficiencies. This leads me to additional lessons related to opportunities to solve problems within healthcare. The domains of interest relate to costs and wastes, speeding up the implementation of evidence-based knowledge, and efficient patient management. At the end of this module, you'll be able to do the following: identify how biological and social systems are features of human well-being and health. These models and theories provide the context that help analysts understand more specific aspects of health and healthcare. Describe important organizations in the U.S. healthcare systems, and defend the proposition that much of this so-called healthcare system is really a fragmented and discoordinated set of groups that sometimes do and sometimes do not act in an effective manner to improve health. Next, articulate specific examples that document high costs and possible waste in the U.S. healthcare system, and identify linkages between fragmentation and non-system-like properties that are related to these wasteful outcomes. Articulate the knowing-doing gap, or the difference between known sciences about the best care in comparison to what patients actually receive. Describe current evidence-based efforts to transform fragmented care processes into coordinated, patient-centered activities. It is important that we set the context for this learning, and my hope is you build a great foundation to help you move into a successful career within the healthcare industry. Okay, let's get started.